All right, I just can't hit the right button. 3, 2. Hello, once again, I'm Doc Rodden, your host. And this is Horror News Radio, the official Gruesome Magazine podcast. Trainwreck 101. Back with me again this week are the scariest, goriest, bloodiest co-host on the net. And tonight we're reviewing Werewolves Within. I love that title. All right. Joining me tonight is the one and only Dave Dreher. Dave, how are you doing, sir?
Doc, hey, I'm hoping, I just need one question answered. Hopefully this movie will let us know, are the roads in fact storm fucked? I got a feeling the roads might be storm fucked, and if they are, we got shit going down.
Yeah, double so. Yes.
That's this film meteor shit.
Yes.
The storm fucked.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore.
What's
there he is.
up?
I see him.
It's
there he
me.
is. He's right there.
And by the way, I have AT&T. Just letting a certain person know that I have AT&T, and in case she needs to connect with me any day of the week. Just saying.
The coverage sucks, but the spokesperson's good.
Hey,
so,
I know someone I want coverage with. You know what I mean?
Address your comments too, Christopher G. Moore.
Hey, I have never covered up the fact that I am a horn dog, and there are certain actresses I have a crush on. I'm a lonely man.
Yeah, I would add this.
Just say it. I'm a lonely man.
I would add this to your crush count, but we already established this some time ago.
I know. That should be my normal thing. What is my new crush for the week?
Yes.
What actress am I going to have a crush on that has no idea that I even exist or ever will?
I'm speechless. I don't know where to go with that. All right. What we're going to do with the movie is give our first impressions, which will be spoiler-free. And then we're going to discuss it, which will not be spoiler-free. We're going to get into spoilers then. And then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score, and favorite scene. It's going to be hard to talk about this film without spoiling the twist in this movie. We're going to try to kind of back in that as much as we can. Well, put it in the back. No. We're going to leave it in the rear. No.
You're not getting any better. Move on.
We're going to
move on. Nothing
then we're going to give
here.
our final thoughts, our score, and favorite scene. Oh, man. It's one of the welcome to Monday. All right. Werewolves Within, available in theaters June 25th and available to rent everywhere July 2nd. The synopsis is: after a proposed pipeline creates divisions within a small town of Beaverfield, a snowstorm traps its residents together inside the local and the newly arrived forest ranger Finn and postal worker CECILY. Oh, jeez. Must try to keep the peace and uncover the truth behind a mysterious creature that has begun terrorizing the community. Feature adaptation of the video game Werewolves, where werewolves attack a small town. Werewolves Within is the name of the video game as well, which is apparently a VR game.
Well, it's a game that's made in different variations by Ubisoft.
Yeah,
so
until this moment, I did not even know.
It's actually loosely based on the social game called Werewolf, which is also there's a game called Mafia, where it's a social game where you're trying to figure out who's the werewolf, where some people know and some people don't.
It sounds like fun. Directed by Josh Rubin, written by Mishna Wolf. Cast includes Sam Richardson, Milana Vayntrub, George Basil, Sarah Burns, Michael Chernus, Catherine Curtin, Wayne Duvall, Harvey Guillon, Rebecca Henderson, Cheyenne Jackson, and Glenn Fleshler.
You did real good with those this time, Doc. Very nice.
I'm pretty sure.
Doc. So who does Milana play again?
In the movie or in
the movie?
Just call her Lily. It's just easier.
Miss C.
How do you pronounce that name?
CECILY.
CECILY? I thought it was Cecile all the whole time, and I guess I don't know. I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, CECILY, and of course she's Lily, the AT&T girl. I think a lot of people remember her as that. All right, so we'll drop the card here and get into our reviews. Dave, you are up first. What was your first impression of Werewolves Within?
I'm really fascinated by the fact that this is a video game. I didn't know that, so not that it makes much of a difference, but that's kind of cool. I like this. I was surprised to see Lily in this. Christopher and Doc and I were talking by that. For some reason, I've always just found her very cute, very attractive, even on her AT&T commercials, and she's actually a damn fine actress, which I didn't know about her. She's very good in this movie. This is, I wasn't sure where they were heading with this. This is kind of a lighthearted movie. I mean, we got kind of almost a Twin Peaks vibe going on, all these weird, quirky little characters. The mechanic and her boyfriend and the guy that lives in the woods and all this stuff. And they've all got their little that lady with the dog. I don't know what her. Yeah, it's just. But they're all kind of entertaining, and they're very much over the top. In their characters of what they are. We don't really see a lot of horrific stuff until the final reel. I mean, we get little tidbits of stuff, but nothing really hardcore, I guess I want to say, until close to the end of the movie. But it held my attention. I like the kind of witty, fast dialogue. There's you got to kind of really pay attention because there's a lot going on just in the back and forth, and it happens really fast. But I like that. I actually watched this twice. And I enjoyed it quite a bit more the second time around because I think I was able to catch more, some of the little inside jokes that I missed the first time through. My first impression is this was a fun little pseudo horror film that at the end actually ends up being kind of horrific.
Yeah, that it does. Yep. All right, Christopher G. Moore, you're up next. What was your first impression of Werewolves Within?
Well, you know me, I love a good horror comedy, and I think this is one of my favorite horror comedies I've seen in a while. It's really a well-crafted, it's very witty. I think it's very ironic that the lady who wrote it, her last name is Wolf.
Yeah. No, I was thinking the same.
But yeah, this is you could either call it Claws Out instead of Knives Out, or you can call it northern exposure to lycanthropes. It's very northern exposure-ish. But I do love the crazy. I mean, it's funny because you have things like Knives Out where you have all these crazy characters. In this one, they're like almost sitcom type characters, just amped up, and it's so much fun. Like the husband who keeps trying to be all feely on the postal worker, the CECILY. Now you got me messing up her name too. CECILY. But yeah, there's so many running jokes. I will say sometimes that some of the jokes, they really run into the ground. So there's a few times, okay, we get it. You like snowshoes. But it's still really funny, and I love that it gets kind of batshit crazy towards the end, to where it's like werewolves are just one of the things you need to worry about. And I think Milana, the AT&T girl, she's amazing. She has such great comedic timing. Also, the main guy who plays this nicey nice guy who's trying to be assertive, and I love that aspect of it where he sort of, really leans into that characterization and having to deal with all these weird characters that are all kind of their different levels of abrasiveness. Whether it's the idiot couple where they almost speak in their own sort of like ignorant, illiterate speak, like the storm fuck thing. And just them interacting with each other. By the end, you're like, I kind of wish this werewolf would kill all of them because they're such annoying people, but they're annoyingly funny. I've been looking forward to seeing this film, and this film is funny as shit. It's really, and I think a lot of it just comes down to getting the right getting the right actors to be able to embody these characters, getting the right pieces of dialogue that sort of tie into a lot of the things that are happening. And I think also it's got some really great direction and editing that's really sells a lot of the jokes and bits that happen throughout the film. So yeah, Werewolves Within is, yeah, you may not know who the werewolf is, but the humor is not hidden. It's out there in your face and clawing at your funny bone every bit of the way throughout this film. I really love this film.
Yeah, I did too. It was quite a blast. It's the chemistry between Sam Richardson, who plays Finn, and Milana Vayntrub, who plays CECILY, that is really strong. There's a point where they're at that bar that you feel the chemistry between them, and if you believe everything that's happening to these two characters, which is important for this particular story. And I love the supporting cast as well. Like the old lady that owns the inn is really well done. The batshit crazy redneck couple. The gay couple's funny as well.
With Guillermo,
yeah, and the doctor is even really weird. But yeah, okay, so there's the guy that's in town wanting to basically buy up all the land so he can do whatever the heck who cares. You guys might recognize
they want to run a
pipeline, right? But you might recognize him. You're like, where did I see that face? Where did I see
Jeff Moore?
It looks like Jeff Moore, but it also looks like the guy at the beginning of A Quiet Place too, because it is.
That's what I say. That is him, isn't it?
It is the guy watching the TV, and when
the guy working at the grocery store.
The grocery store. Yep, that's him. That's him.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought I had seen him somewhere before, and I couldn't place my finger on it. Wow.
Yep, I had to dig. I was like, what did I? Yep, that's him. And because he doesn't have much lines, but it's kind of important for the beginning of the film. When they discover all the stuff that's happening, he's like, oh no, bombing maybe, and it's a really weird delivery. But he's one of my favorite characters in this as well. I just loved all the characters. They're all quirky and funny, and the way they do the old dark house thing where they're all stuck in the inn, the snowstorm and the avalanche snow. Whatever the heck. What is it? Storm fucked?
Storm fucked. I love that. I don't know why. I just thought that was so funny. We're storm fucked.
And the guy goes out there and looks. Oh, yep. And then you can't. Emerson Flint, the hunter up in the woods, is an unrecognizable Glenn Fleshler. I don't know if you looked at the actor, you go, oh man, I've seen him everywhere. He's a great character actor. I think Detective Story was where I recognized him from the most, but he's been in a lot of things. But of course, he's made up like this mountain man, and I like this character too. This is fun, and it's more of a comedy character piece. The horror is kind of baked in, as a supporting element, but it wouldn't be the film it is without that element. It's kind of, it's important to the very finale, and it works out wonderfully well. I love the ending of this movie. So this is going to be one I likely talk about at the end of the year.
I think it's worthy of it. I think it does well what it intends to do well, which is, having that comedy aspect of it. Because I was listening to an interview with the filmmaker, and he talked about like when he gets the actors in there, he wants them to not play them comedic, play them straight as their characters, so they lean into their eccentric ways, and they lean into their specific pieces of dialogue, and they sell it really well. And I think and just how everything connects by the end of it. And also, I'll say this right now. This is probably one of the better video game adaptations, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the game was based on the social game where you have people that are trying to manipulate you and make you think one thing, and you have that in this, to where like most of your murder mysteries, like usually people are hiding something, and this one everybody seems to be hiding some element or issue or whatever. And and I think that's when it gets a little bit a social aspect of being storm fucked by the end of it, where everybody's for themselves, and the mystery kind of reveals itself. It gets more and more interesting once they peel away these layers of who each one of these characters, what their underlying issue thing might be, and not everybody's but also just I love the aspect of the nicey nice park ranger. He's just so freaking hilarious, and also I think I can relate a little bit as being someone who sometimes can be too nice for my own good when it comes to dealing with people and putting up with shit, and you kind of allow people to walk all over you. And so you have this aspect of this guy who's supposed to have some level of power in this community, and he's got to sort of step up on it, in his own way by the end of it. But yeah, I really loved it. Yeah, this film's just fun. It's just fun, it's and I think without giving too much away, with once we get sort of like the werewolf aspect of it, I think they go about it really kind of interesting, and they, for a low budget film, I think they did a really great job of sort of incorporating that to where it kind of works for what they need to work.
Okay, so yeah, it's true that you'll have to be patient, but yes, this is actually a werewolf film. you might doubt that by midway through, 3/4 of the way through, but it does resolve itself and resolve the werewolf mystery. So we're not going to spoil that part here, but it's a blast. The werewolf reminded me of the what's the basketball werewolf?
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
I don't think that's a good thing to compare it to.
I was going more for our transformation at the end of
the visual,
or more like Wolf, maybe with Jack Nicholson.
That works.
Well, yeah, I guess
that might be a better version. I guess.
Yeah. Even Wolf.
It's a little bit more humanish, I guess.
Very much so. But I felt it was appropriate. Werewolf. I felt it was appropriate, didn't you?
No, I think it works for what it needs to work for. I think. But yeah, I think it works within the realm of this specific story.
Yeah, I mean, even the transformation's kind of done. It's done on camera, but out of focus, like in the background, but it works. I mean, it's still disturbing to watch happen. And I think it gave them a way to have an on-camera transformation without having to spend a lot of money to make it happen.
Well, the director was talking about had limitations of budget. They don't have one of the easy things they did is when the person who's the werewolf transforms, they just took their sleeve and moved it up.
Yeah, that would work.
So it looks like the arm stretching out.
Because again, it's out of focus. You can't really tell.
Yeah, I was looking for that. That actually scene isn't out of focus when that part happens. So it really sells it. And as a filmmaker, I was like, I see what you did there. That works. You don't necessarily have to have
that's some Tom Savini shit. Just
yeah. You don't need all these big named effects people to make your arm extend. Just pull your sleeve up.
Dave, there is a couple of gore shots. There's a hand and a gunshot. To name a few, fire pit for another one that was kind of fun. Did it satisfy your gore houndness?
It did. Yeah. I mean, again, it was well done. It wasn't gratuitous. It fit the story, and but it was still at the same time kind of jarring. Without being over the top. So yeah, I think very much so. This was a very well balanced film for me. Yeah. Everything just kind of fit nicely. All the pieces fit together.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Ready or Not a little bit too, except if everybody was going after everybody instead of it just being
Oh yeah, it does do that. Yeah.
Yeah, because by the end it gets a little bit crazy because then nobody knows who to trust who. Although I say it was kind of nice seeing Harvey, the Harvey guy who played Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows, playing a really sort of, extra feminine character who's I think my favorite line is, because I guess he leans into his ethnic background or whatever. But there's like one part where his like it's a Mexican standoff, and the guy's like, "Can we not say standoff? Can we not say Mexican, honey? Let's just call it standoff." And I just like I love that those elements of like the our curtain culture and stuff to where like they play that into the humor of it. They lean into that part of it because there's also a bit involving when he calls Milana girl are you a mailman? I'm a male person. I mean, there's a lot of really witty things they do with the dialogue that's just really funny. That especially when you have all these big characters and all interacting with each other, because even with like the crazy woman with the tchotchke, the little dog, and the way she talks, and then her husband who's always like wanting to touch. I mean, it's like, or just like the crazy couple from they're just speaking in their own weird illiterate language. I don't know. It's just like. And then you even have like the weird. We don't even talk about the weird doctor woman.
No, she's strange.
She's strange.
She just kind of pops up out of nowhere. All of a sudden, she's in frame. She just kind of.
But even like
great entry though. Great.
Then also you have the changes. You have like the woman who's over like the bed and breakfast that when they find that specific body or whatever, and then she changes. Where she's like, she's like, her delivery just makes me laugh because she's trying to be like this. I don't know. She's trying to like interact with people, but she's just this low energy. What can you? I mean, I don't know. I can't do it justice.
Well, watch it the second time because there's little moments like that all throughout it that I missed the first time. I laughed out loud the second time I watched it when after the tchotchke gets eaten, the little dog. And I don't know, there's some kind of interaction, and she's walking around with that fucking leash, until she's got the bloody leash. And the one gay guy goes, "Could we stop flashing around the gore leash, please?" Or the gore leash. Or something. I thought that was the funniest thing.
Well, and I think I compare this to like the old screwball comedies, where they had the fast-paced dialogue, because there was actually a couple parts where I rewinded it when I was watching it because I was like, I missed that piece of dialogue, and there's like so many great comedic nuggets and just the interaction where they're just going off on each other and just a simple turn of a phrase like the gore leash that kind of stuff that's just so really freaking hilarious.
Just the way it was delivered too. I mean, a lot of it's in the delivery,
And there's there's so many things that like. This is one of those films I feel like that I'm going to own, and I'm going to be quoting it to people just because it makes me laugh so much.
Yeah, even when the redneck woman has that wrench and she's like, "Look at my wrench."
Well, I mean, just like that, we joked about the storm fuck thing, but that made me laugh so hard when they're trying to like, let us in. It's storm fucked. It's just this. The phrasing that just seems like these people didn't go to school at all.
And pay attention to all the theories, because one of the many theories you will hear is right.
I know we don't want to reveal it, but did any of us figure it out before the reveal?
Well, at some point it was a little thin, but you only have so many to choose from, but no.
I kind of figured it seemed kind of obvious to me who the werewolf was going to be, but that was just me thinking.
Yeah, well, it didn't seem obvious to me until it was obvious. Does that make any sense? I mean, we were so close to the reveal. It's like, okay, I got it.
Well, I think once things pop up and you learn more information, then it definitely falls into place.
Yeah.
Because then I don't know about you guys. Anytime somebody was missing from the room, you're like, oh, this person was missing. Or they, I mean, I loved about this is like it feels like Clue, or it feels like one of those sort of mysteries where you're really interested in figuring this shit out as it goes along. When you're not laughing so hard from something somebody says or something somebody does, because there's like even just bits of just comedic physicality, because there's a part where he bumps into one person and another person comes in, and it's just a really sort of funny bit. Yeah,
there's great gags, visual, vocal, funny stuff. This is I think we should just end it here. Let's wrap things up. Let's give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. But before we do, we want to thank you for hanging out with us. We hope you're not only are you enjoying this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you'd like to help us out, it's easy and free to do. You hit the subscribe button down below, or you share with a friend, and that does wonders. If you want to like it, that will help too. And we'd love to hear your comments when you see this film, and we know you're going to watch it. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'd love to hear it. We also want to thank our patrons really quick because without their support, we wouldn't be able to do not only Horror News Radio, but Decades of Horror, Gruesome Magazine, and Heroes and Droids. A lot of fun reviews each and every week. And that's what you would keep up with here on the channels. So check
we
them
keep
out.
you busy, don't we?
We try. We try our best. We're always juggling that schedule. That is for certain. All right, Dave, you are up first. Your final thoughts, your score and favorite scene?
Well, I came into this review really liking this movie, but again, now that we've talked, and this happens frequently, now that we've talked about it, I really, really like this movie. It's a lot of fun. I don't want to ruin anything, but pay attention. I would say kind of go into this realizing you're going to watch it a second time, because I really think there's just so much going on to thoroughly enjoy it. You got to kind of do the second viewing. I agree with Christopher. I think this is one of those movies where 5 years from now we're going to be quoting lines from it, because it's just a lot of really fun, witty stuff in there. So kudos to the writer and kudos to the cast for bringing it all to life. Favorite scene? I think this is a dumb scene, but it still makes me laugh. I watched it between the two viewings. I stopped it, rewind it, watch it again, stop it, rewind it, watch it again. But it's after our Finn finds the guy, finds the dead body, and he brings it up onto the porch, and the whole crew's around there, and it's covered with some kind of a tarp, and one of them pulled it off, and just their reaction when they see it. We don't see it. We can't see anything. We just know there's something there. And just their group reaction. There's got to be outtakes of that. I don't know how many takes they did of that, but just them as a group when they react to it just makes me laugh so hard. I don't know why. I watch it and just watch individual characters, their reaction to it. I highly suggest you do so if you didn't do that, because it's masterful. It really is. It's just hilarious to watch occur. So that was my favorite scene, and I came into this ready to give it a 4, but I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good movie. The more I talk about it, and I have a feeling the more I see it, the more I'm going to want to sing its praises.
Awesome. All right, Christopher, you're up next. Beat that, if you will.
Yeah, well, I think the B&B owner. I don't know what the light keeps going.
What is your light doing?
I don't know. There's a werewolf in there. When her scream is just like, it's so.
All the reactions are brilliant.
I mean, they're all of them, but I think her doing that just makes everybody else is just. It's almost like a whole group of singers screaming together, doing this sort of like wonderful music of comedy just in their delivery. Yeah, this film is really a hard comedy gem, and you know me, hard comedies are my favorites in the horror genre, and I think this is a new favorite. And it's also good just to see, even though it doesn't lean 110% into the werewolf aspect of it, I'm glad to see we have a new werewolf film that we can at least talk about, and I think for it to take sort of the very simple elements of what has been known as like a social game that I've seen people play at Dragon Con, and also like the video game, and taking that social aspect of it and then turning it into this sort of like whodunit murder mystery works really well. And I think a lot of that's just making sure that you have really interesting characters. It's sort of like Clue. I mean, what makes Clue work so well is each one of those individual actors and their ability to deliver, the comedy based on their own individual attributes as that character. And each one of these leans into that major character that, I guess you could say some of them are almost characters. You have the gay couple who have that aspect of it, but they lean into it to where you know those people, they're just like those sort of like hipsters these hipsters that, I know a lot of people that moved to Asheville, North Carolina, very hipsterish, because now they have like winery tours. And so there's a lot of hipsters that move there, and like, and you could sort of see those people moving into the small town. I think, I think Mishna Wolf, who wrote this, I want to see what she writes next, because I really love her voice. I love her ability when it comes to comedy and writing characters, and also just how the story plays out based on that. I think my only critique is like there was a few times where some of the comedic bits were like I won't say beating a dead horse, but there was like they leaned into it too much. Because I was even like that the CECILY character where he's like, again with the horse, the snowshoes. I was like, okay, we get it. You know information about snowshoes. But I think also, everything came together from the actors, the director, to even just editing, because a lot of times your humor is delivered by connecting your shots or even just using sound. Because there's a really funny bit where the park ranger's going around different places, and I forgot his little phrase he says. He says it instead of like cursing or whatever, and he keeps saying it at each individual thing. And also how they lean into it, like when he does curse, it makes it funny as well. So I'll give it a 4.75 out of 5. This is one of my favorite films. And I would give it a perfect 5 if I didn't feel like there was a couple places where the jokes were leaning into a little too much. But I think overall it's a well-crafted horror comedy. There's probably a million different scenes I could probably pick, because there's some really funny stuff that all these different characters do. I will say, they show a little bit in the trailer, but when the one guy who's the husband to the dog girl, when he gets his hand chewed, and and he's sitting in front of the fireplace, like, maybe I'm a werewolf, and it's just so funny because just there's a little bit when he does after that when he's like, maybe I bit my own hand off. Oh, just that bit makes me laugh so hard. And I think the commitment, the level of commitment. And also I want Milana to be my personal post person, please.
There you go.
Anyway, add her to my crush list. I want to see her more in more stuff, and I want to see her in more stuff. She's really a great comedic actor. But she has some really great dialogue scenes that she really sells the comedic part of it really well. So yeah, I love this film. If I keep talking about it, I may give it a 5 out of 5.
You might do it anyway.
I'm being like Dave.
Fine, I'll do it right. Okay, so I'll wrap this up. I think maybe if I can find me. Here we go. There I am. I really enjoyed it. I was looking forward to it. Would I've liked more werewolf in my werewolf movie? Of course, but I think they worked it out in a really ingenious way, in a satisfying way, because I think if they would have played it where there wasn't a werewolf, but everybody thought, well, I think I would have been really disappointed. So I am very grateful and happy that they did at least deliver that, and it was so much fun. This movie's about the characters. It's about the actors playing them and their interactions, the dialogue, the situations, and it is successful in its humor, at least for the three of us jokers. And the chemistry between our leads is really strong. When it does need gore, it delivers in a good, fun way. I think it hits all the marks. I really enjoyed this, and much like the two of you sitting here talking about it, maybe enjoy it even more. And now that Dave has talked about all the things he's talked about, I guess I'm going to have to find a way to watch it again, because I want to see those. Because the inn owner is so in the forefront of that one scene. That she gets your attention. So now I got to see what all the rest of them do, because they're in a lot of scenes as a group, and those scenes are very chaotic, but not in a confusing way, in a chaotic that's almost like organized chaotic comedy. It's just like little bits of humor throwing around all over the place in the background. It's rather interesting. Really, it's almost like a well-honed comedy troupe, right?
Yeah. Good way of putting it.
So I was going to give it a 4, and I'm going to bump mine up to 4.25. How's that?
I think we're all saying see it. I think that's what it comes down to.
And my favorite scene, there's a lot to choose from, and I'm trying to do one that isn't going to be spoilery. Because I want to. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I want to choose when they go to visit. What is the guy's name? Emerson Flint. When they go to visit him the second time, and they're very nervous to talk to him, and they discover the clue, and it's and we've seen him in one scene. He's really gruff, right? He's really, you got 10 seconds to get off my land. And, he's like very imposing, and our lead is very intimidated by him. So now they have to go back and then they, become intimidated again. And it's just,
he reminded me a lot of, I don't know if it was purposeful or not, but his name's Flint, and he reminded me of Quint from Jaws.
Yes.
When they go to try to, just in his gruffness and his inability to get along with people. And it's like, I wonder if there's like a little mini homage there to the Quint character with the Flint.
Look him up, guys. Look him up on IMDb without all the hair and the beard, and you're going to go, it's that guy. You really are. It's just one of the many actors that you recognize by face instead of name, and he's quite good.
When we first see him, he's got that bear head. He's got like a wolf head on his.
Yeah, he's a great character, and his last scenes in the film are terrific too.
I will say this is one of those films where the very last bit before it goes to credits is hilarious. It's a pretty hilarious bit. Let's just say that.
Yeah, this movie is worthy of what it's
you're seeing something interesting when before any videos or any footage is shown, they give a quote, which I won't say who the quote's by, but they give a quote, which makes kind of sense later on.
Oh my god, I was
which
like,
makes sense
really?
later on. Yeah,
the dramatic music. The dramatic music they're playing behind
music, and then you're like, what?
That's who the quote's from.
But then it makes kind of sense later on. So I mean everything that is intentional. Let's just say that.
It's smart too. That's what I think.
It's a very smart and witty. Yeah. It's really well done. I kind of want to see more like this, kind of like Knives Out. Just
Wolves Out. Yeah.
Maybe have him going to different places, having to deal with possible werewolves in other locations
if he still can. All right, well, there you go. There's our review of Werewolves Within. We hope you get a chance to watch it. When you do, we want to hear what you think down below. Christopher, Dave, thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
It was indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, always glad to talk about really films like this that we really want more people to see. Need more eyeballs on it.
Absolutely. All right, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.